Bro, oh, fuck off. You gotta be shitting me. That's so exhausting. What happened? What happened? Absolutely tragic. But you did, oh shit, you did see some stuff. So, all right. So we talked about speed. I don't know what I got a chance to say about it. Very, very frustrating. Probably takes like 10 more minutes, but this is good. So speed, um, it's just clearly an I shit no. Um, I don't think it's pretty. Um, it's just easy to hide slipping when you're talking really fast and moving from one point to the next. Also, like you're not even giving people a chance to hear it and to really engage with what you're saying. Speed's a major red flag for me. I also talked about ethos language, and then I did a whole thing about how I may be demonstrating or portraying a certain ethos in this using a whiteboard. I have my glasses on. Something about my tone, definitely, surely. Um, and that is a red flag, but especially if when it's compared to the baseline, right? And maybe, or if you don't know what the baseline is the person misusing a lot of words? Um, I don't know. That might mean that they are that there's a mechanism in there sending out big words because the system overall does not feel satisfied that the bets given actually part of the tav. But still, of course, if someone gives a bet to that's supposed to par a tav, and someone else raises that bet, they say nah. They try to downce that bet. They say nah, that's not true. That condition, and then the person goes, but still consequent. Um, that's problematic because either if they actually see why, if they can actually articulate why your attempt to downsit was wrong, then they should do that. If they care about truth and this dialogue or this presentation. Um, I guess but we're not having a dialogue. We're just stop, 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 stop. And repetition, which is kind of like a but still, and a but still is kind of like a slip, right? Is that you're not pilling, you're not engaging with the thing said, you're just reaffirming. And so anyway, so these I think are some ways to know that you're not talking that the individual you're talking to, their activity is not someone who's like b- believes that is confident in the evidence that they have and that it leads to their conclusion, but also not certain. Someone who has some critical recognition is open to the possibility. You can trust someone who's open to the possibility that they're wrong, because surely they have been wrong many times, and then they kept realizing it and getting closer and closer to being right. So that's someone that you can trust. Nobody starts off being right. So anybody who by the way, yeah, just another indication that they're not trying to have that they're not that they're committed and invested in their tab, their kess. Um, Another indication is if they say anything about "I'll never change my mind," won't change mind. That's it. That's it. Just don't. Guys, scroll. Talk about something else. Because anybody who says they won't change their mind, they're not someone who's able to see when they're wrong. So yeah, so that's a red flag. And then also we talked about this in the Dialeris pre-checklist, but it's also a part of the Monaleris pre-checklist. Any Aleris pre-checklist, even the Wealeris. Anybody who says they're not going to change their mind, no point in telling them what we discovered. Um. So yeah, the pre-check so this is the Aleris pre-checklist. Uh huh. There's an Aleris pre-checklist. Uh huh. Okay. So there's an Aleris pre-checklist. Yeah. Yeah. Certain components of critical recognition need to be demonstrated by all parties. Otherwise, well, there's no point in you doing an analysis if you don't have critical recognition or some humility or some of the components. No point in studying what someone else says if they don't have these important components or don't have the important components of critical recognition. Okay, of recognition. Okay, so now of course, did I just come up with that? We gotta write it down here. So we gotta look at some vids. Maybe I just came up with that because of this video, and then I'm gonna see someone else who's kess shopes, and I'm gonna have to come up with a whole nother list. Maybe I'll just come up with a list of things I noticed. Aleris checklist. Um, so red flags, agit. Okay, so we had slip, but still, speed, repetition, pathos, exaggerated. I didn't put enough G's in that. What? I don't know how to spell it. Ethos, exaggerated. I like ethos signaling. Won't change mind. All right. Next, we want to look at whether it's cup. Where's my blue, bud? Where's my blue? Okay, I guess I don't need blue. Oh, there's my blue. Okay, next, is it puck? Now you can't, yeah, does it cup? Now you can't really, yeah, no, it's not about whether the evidence is true. It's not about whether it cups reality. Does it try? Does it cup some evidence? And so if you just hear, um, if you hear science / research, like actually cited, not like, oh, I did some research, but like if you hear a study cited, um, if you, these are good things, right? This means it's cup, right? It's cup and something good at least. Even dates, stats, and then a red flag for this is anecdote and just things that just can't be true. that's silly, but I'm gonna stand by it for now. Things that can't be true, and also things that like obvious, like obvious, or like classic like a human. All right, an example would be if someone says about a group of people, well, you can't trust them, they're not like us or something like that, or especially with the you can't trust them part. That's just a classic in group out group, which it just we know that that comes from the inside. It could be a real conclusion from the outside, based on information, but we know we're basically born thinking that, or we are, or at least very much predisposed to. No, we are. The other, you cannot trust them. Not like you can the us. Um, so just like a classic. Um, oh, if you naive realism. Let's call it a classic endoit, right? That's what an endroit is. Well, I don't know. I don't know whether to pronounce it endroit or endoit. But an endroit is it's just something that's just like an a priori, pre-installed, native to the system, and a high case score. And it's like that doesn't need any information from the outside to be ex-livering. Um, so let's make those two separate things. And then anything about naive realism, anything like where the person says you can tell, or it was just obvious to me when I, blah blah, or anybody who doesn't understand that just like is, I don't know, anything that suggests that we don't need evidence, or we don't need to raise any of the sex, because it's written in our hearts, we know that thing to be true. And that's kind of like the censor myth, right? And then another thing that that it's puck, that it's not cup, is well, just basic non-truths. So this one, it's like, okay, I don't know for a fact that what you're saying isn't true, but that just seems like such an outrageous claim. Which of course is your own censor myth, thinking that because it seems like an outrageous claim, it is. But we're doing what we can. Um, yeah, and then just falseness, bro. Okay, just falseness, bro. Okay. So then if you see these things, you know it's puck. If you see these things, you know it's cup. Great. Okay. Not that, but we gotta deduce from the information available. Okay, and then the last one is mallet. Okay. Um, and then you just gotta know some common biases and fallacies and stuff like that, and see whether anything jumps out at you. Now, if you're serious about this, let's say you're like, oh, that's clearly a straw man. You have to actually now raise that. Is it a straw man? So, I mean, this is hard. Thinking is hard. I mean, really, a Monaleris, it's hard fucking work. Um, hell of a hard to invent it, and I think it's going to be even harder to actually put it into practice. Um, so part one is you got to do a PAM. Are they auditing? Are they making errors? Are they is there evidence involved? I would not actually recommend doing that order, but we can't call it map or amp because those are already things. All right, so we'll do a little Pam. That's part one, and then the mallet. Just got to know some. Um, like argument from small numbers. Nut picking is a really good one that you see a lot on the internet, where one side of the esek will present a member of the other side whose position is sort of disqualified for a bunch of reasons, but those reasons don't actually apply to the whole group. It's called nut picking to choose. It's almost like a group straw man. No, it's nut picking. So you pick a nut in the group, a nutty person, and you go, look, that's they're like this guy. That's what people believe. They're like this. Okay, and that's a mallet. The it being if a believer in a conclusion is crazy, then the conclusion is crazy. That's a mallet. That's a maladaptive it. Okay. All right. So we don't. So there you go. Or like an appeal to ignorance. Yeah, but we don't know for a fact that that isn't true. Okay, so you're saying that, okay, so that means that it is true? Or you're just saying that we should consider it, in which case that's what we're doing. So why are you just reaffirming that it deserves our consideration? I'm trying to say I'm considering it right now, and it doesn't seem to be true. And they say, yeah, but you don't know for sure. No, I don't, but is that our standard for moving on, that we're 100% sure of something? I shouldn't have even gotten out of bed this morning then, you know. Okay. Part one is the red flag. Okay, great. Are we recording? Okay. I think that's. Oh, but what did we put for the puck? Shit. Okay. So cup, science, numbers, and yes, people can misuse numbers and stuff. That's okay because you're gonna raise that later. Science, numbers, dates, and then what you don't want, it's pocket. You're here naive realism, censor myth. Um, Fucking hell. All right, whatever. I'll try to remember to write that down. Let's take another break. I'll do that now, actually.